Okay, so this video is about a new plugin that just dropped on iOS called Dr. Vibe by Sketch Audio. Dr. Vibe is basically a lo-fi plugin, effects plugin. Um, it has its own little, I don't want to say vibe because, no, but yeah, it has its own little setup and own little thing that gives you a lot more variation and a lot more ability to make adjustments, which a lot of lo-fi plugins don't all have. And I think that's what makes it kind of special. Now, it does have presets, and of course, you can save your own presets. We're going to use the 303, the OG 303, like SP 303, that is. This is their plugin settings minus the fact that I turned up the output, adjust the wet, and that's it. Pretty much I just turned up the output and adjust the wet. Everything else is their exact rate. Now, I don't understand why they put 20 on their rate on the bit depth, but I'm pretty sure the OG 303 is like 12 if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 12. It might be 16, but I think it's 12. And then the sample rate should definitely probably not be 44-100. Now, I have not done my research on that, so I got to be honest, I don't know. But we could look that up. Let's see what it was back in the day. Let's see if we can. So we'll go SP 303 sample rate. Let's just see if we can find something real quick on the internet that might tell us or give us an idea. I can't even say that word right now. Mono samples. Let's see if we go to this SP, if we can gather anything. Has a maximum sample time of 33 minutes at a standard so it is 44.1. Interesting. I noticed the files are 23 minutes. 16-bit. Oh, was it 16-bit? Okay. I could be wrong on this. And I don't know, this person could be wrong. I have no clue. I didn't think it was, I thought it was a 12-bit sampler, but maybe I'm thinking of the SP202, perhaps. Could be. Again, I'm not an expert at this, and I'm not professing it either. I think you want to do your research if you want to go deeper than what I know, for sure. Here's the actual Roland. I was trying to see if it tells you compact. So it is 44.1. That's good to know because I did not know that. I'm sure this developer did his research because he would probably get backlash if he didn't set it close as he can to what it is. But it looks like it is 44, so I was definitely wrong on that part. So the sample rate will stay there. I don't know about 20-bit. I think it's 16, but I may be wrong on that too, so I'm going to leave it. Now, that's one of the things special about that. Let me tell you this too. This is on iOS, and yet if you buy it for $7.49 at the time of filming, you get it on the Mac too in the store. So you can have it on both if you have a MacBook. Let's see here. So this is the compressor on Vulf Compressor that we can use to compare it to. You can see everything's kind of set the same. 10% or 0% rather, 50% on the compressor, -7 on the output, which is what I put the other one. Did I put it at -7? Hold up a second. I put it at +7. That's not right. Let's adjust it to, now when I looked at their setting, it was at -3 or +3. So let's see. That's a little closer now because you see how Vulf is very quiet. Excuse me. So that's closer in the setting. All right, we'll leave it there. That's fine. I'm not going to match these identical We're just using them to see how the difference in the sound, okay? And you're not going to be able to tell tremendously because YouTube compresses the video. So there's another compressor on the compressor. But we just want to see. All right, so I'm going to turn them off. Right now, both of them are off. You can see here. And then I'm just going to play these drums. Now, these drums, just so you know, are just samples. You can see them right here. Okay. They're like MPC drum, acoustic drum samples, whatever. Let's go. And then on the drum bus, I use a roar, which is a distortion. It's a kit enhancer. And then I use Valhalla drum air, which I use on just about everything. If you're on iOS, I usually use EOS 2 ambient and turn it down to like 9 or 10%. Okay, enough said of that. Let's just play this sound so you can hear the drums. Real basic drums. I didn't do anything special at all. All right, so you hear it's real plain acoustic basic drum rhythm, nothing special. Let's add in Vulf Compressor first. And in order to do this in Ableton, we'll need to go to the mixer, which I'll have here. And then we will turn up B, because that is the Vulf compressor. I'm going to do 50%. Oh, you know what? First of all, Dr. Vibe is on C. We need to turn it all the way up. And then we need to turn this up on all of them for you to better hear it. So we're doing about 50% on all of them. It's real subtle. So it's not nearly as dirty on this one as you might think. And I guess I could turn the output up more, but that's their setting. All right, so let's turn that down. Now we're going to turn up C at 50%. And we'll just play the drums through C. And C is Dr. Vibe. So we'll turn off the Vulf, turn on this one. And you can already hear this one has more character. I don't want to call that character. I'm going to call that just like noise. There you go. Okay, so there's more noise for sure. I'm going to put, now I'm going to go back and just put their settings the way they had their settings, which is really distorted. So I guess this match is to match the output. Let's just put it back where it was. All right, so if we just ran it through with theirs, here we go. So it's very noisy, that's for sure. Let's do this match. See what that does. To be honest with you, and I'm sitting here with it, I'm not hearing that much of a difference in it. But let's do this now. We're going to go back into Vulf Compressor, and we're going to turn it up 100%. And let's just see what it sounds like. So that sounds like the phasing is kicked in a little more the higher you go up in the volume. And I'm just going off of what I know about this. So if I'm wrong, that's fine. I'm just saying this is what I'm thinking. And if I turn it to 75%, that sounds about where I would want it to be, which is pretty good. All right, but it still sounds really good for what it's doing. All right, let's turn up the Dr. Vibe. Is it cutting in and out? It's weird. It sounds like the compressor is cutting out. Sounds like it's just cutting out the sound or something. And we did it on the match. All right, let's take it off that match and just put it back on the 303. Interesting. Okay, so my take my take on this is that it's hard for me. I definitely think this one, Dr. Vibe, puts more noise out, which is not bad if you want that, but it's definitely more noise. The Vulf Compressor comes across to me as more of a clean sound. Here, I'll play it one more time. It's definitely a lot less noisy. Even if I raise it to 3, you can see the noise is still not. Oh, you know what? Pardon me and my user error here. I forgot to turn the Vulf compressor back on. All right, so let's go back to the setting here. Okay, cool. You got to actually turn it on now. I had it on during the original test. I just forgot to turn it on this portion here. All right, let's listen to it one more time. And this is at about 75%. That's raising it to where the same volume as the Dr. Vibe was on the output. Okay, so here's something I'm noticing, and it could be just me, but I can raise the compression to 100%, and it doesn't make as much noise as the Dr. Vibe. So I don't know if... All right, so if I go into the Dr. Vibe and turn it back on, see, I'm just turning it on, it's already that noisy. Now the wet is set to 100. Obviously, if you bring it down, it's not going to be... But I'm just going to compare the noise. All right, I'm gonna put the input at a 0, the amount, put this at 0. All right, so the wet's on, it's all set to 0 across the board, minus the amount is 50. Obviously, if you go up with the amount, it's gonna be more compressed. All right, so let's put it at 50 again to make this easier on my eyeballs. I will say these numbers could be lighter here so you can see them better. All right, so we're gonna put that at 0, put that at 0. We'll leave it at 100. So just without doing anything, and then we'll go to the Vulf compressor. Let me set it up so you can just hear the difference. 50, put that back at 0. Okay, there we go. So 0, 0, 50. Okay, not doing anything. So here's Vulf compressor just on. Pretty quiet. That's Dr. Vibe on. Really loud. So I'm not sure if that's maybe because the wet is set at 100. Let me put the wet at 50. So that's right at 50. And if you want to, you can always use the match. And it looks like the match dropped the out trim like -18. So maybe that's how you do it to match the volume or whatever else is going on. I'm not sure. See, because that one's quiet. Now this one sounds like it's quiet too. Now, I do know there's some pitch variation going on in the Vulf compressor that I didn't talk about. Again, see, because there's 15% of this wow. And although the phase is at 0, the wow mixer is set at 100. So it's set really low. And then they put this one at 15%. And this lo-fi effect is at 0, but it's set at 36%. So that could be, I mean, it's not going to make it louder. That's the compressor that's doing the extra grit noise that you hear in there, for sure. Because even if I go over here and start moving the pitch wobble and the flutter, and I have it on, as long as the compressor is matching at this level, the output trim is cut, or you drop the wet down, you'll see it's not. Let's hear what that sounds like. Close this out. And we'll drop this up to about 50%. I'll be honest, I never use these plugins generally past 50%, unless you want that. See, I think that sounds good. That's your noise, and then the crackle. Really isn't. It's really subtle. Vinyl sim is not like super. I mean, if I don't, obviously, if you turn the crackle up. Maybe a little less. Not bad. I will say using this match probably helps a lot. Because see, here's the wet right here. It's 100. It's set at 100% too. So the output trim being set. So let me say this. This for iOS, this is the best one, in my opinion. And I'll say that with all sincerity. I think this is the best one. Because similar to the Vulf compressor, I can get I don't have to do much with the Vulf compressor. I honestly just turn it on and leave it where it's at and it's fine. Right? Because I only use one setting. I guess if I start messing around with some different settings and stuff, I could come up with some other stuff. I rarely use it. I only use it when I want that grit. And of course, there's, like other settings in here, like these settings. Here, I'll show you what they look like. Like some parallel glue for your, and then this one. People use this on a lot of different instruments. I've seen people use it on bass, which is kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, the 303. I use the 303 on there. So this is cool. I like this. I've always wanted to have something like the Vulf compressor on iOS, and unless Goodhertz decides to do that, I don't think that's really going to happen. But it's kind of neat that we have this one that has some similarities and the ability to kind of get that 303 sound. Of course, the vinyl sim is nice, but I mean, unless you want vinyl sim, I would be using this more for these two portions of it. The rest of this, I'm not so much worried about. You could leave it on just as part of the character, but I wouldn't even probably use it that much. But this is kind of good. Oh, they have a high quality and standard quality. I didn't even check that. All right, let me see. So we have it on high quality. I'm going to go back to their settings. Put it on high quality. I do think the match is nice to have if you don't want it to be where it was, where it's so noisy. But if you want that extra grit and noise. Now, there's another one on iOS I will say that was really good. Low Fly Dirt. It's got the 404, the 1200, I think, sound in there. But it doesn't have the 303 as far as I know. So and the 303 is my favorite. I love the cassette sim. Oh, and by the way, I have the SP. The 303 and the SP doesn't sound as good as Vulf Compressor, in my opinion. In fact, that's part of the reason why I sold the SP some years ago. I bought it, was super hyped on it when it first came out. And the first time I got it, I just gave up on learning it. Then the second time I said, I'm going to learn it. But then when I started messing around with the 303, I didn't really care for the vinyl sim that much in there. So I ended up using the cassette, which is really nice. And then after that, I was like, I don't know, sometime during the second time before when I sold it, I found Vulf Compressor. And I was like, this is the one. Right? Everything I need is right there in the computer. I could just do that and be good. Then I missed the 303 and got it again. But, that's part of it. All right, I don't want this video to carry on long. You're going to have to try this yourself. I can only do so many tests, right, before it just gets to be ridiculous. Try it yourself. See if you like it. Listen, on iOS, $7.49. And you get it on the MacBook if you have, like, the AUV3s, right? Certain AUV3s work. So it works. And I'll show it to you. It's right here, Doctor Who. Okay, so it's, in my opinion, is it worth it? Absolutely. I would say get it. It's going to be the most control you have for vinyl sim, for this type of compressor. And, I mean, goodness. Yeah. So, anyway. All right. Well, that's it for this video. I'm out. Doctor Who. Dr. Vibe, my bad. Dr. Vibe Sketch Audio, iOS. Check them out.